Hello, hello.
Where's our screen gray? Uh, what's up, everybody? Happy 420.
Happy 420. Woo woo. Woo woo.
You are about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with Queen and MJ. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. Opinions, views, and expressions may or may not be that of the hosts and their subsidiaries. Please note that we are not medical physicians or attorneys, and any information shared is based solely on our personal research and our knowledge. Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to the show. Thanks for rolling up, showing up. Whoop, whoop. What's up, everybody? Oh, we got comments. I was feeling that music. That's the Feeding the Ducks music.
Feeding the ducks. Like, can we get another, what's the next track?
Are you leaving your hair down, sir? Because that would be beautiful. Oh no, I see you putting it up. We can see you. You can't, and you can hear us, but we can't hear you. But if you have any questions while you're in the waiting room, just hit that private chat button, and we'll answer that. And we'll bring in just a second. Our guest is in the house in the green room. We have Tree1Four Genetics in the green room today. Jay, if you guys are out in the St. Louis area, out in the Missouri area, you probably already know Jay, and you should be just as excited as we are to hear what he has to say today and talk about some stuff. Super stoked. But let's get going into the show. We did the disclaimer. The show is brought to you, as always, by CQLC Cannabis Consulting and Education. We are licensed to teach responsible vendor training in the state of Colorado, but really we could teach it anywhere and everywhere. Just Colorado has a license for it, and we have that license. Give us a call, 970-426-5985. We do hands-on training. If you need your team trained, we'll come in, we'll train them, we'll help you with SOPs, do all that stuff. The show is also brought to you now and every day by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer, pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. No sugar, no additives. We use organic hemp and terpenes profiles to create our flavors. Pop this kitty. No yak in the bag. It tastes like water, because that's what water is supposed to taste like. We have a new flavor coming out in June, so definitely follow our socials on that front. You can go onto our Instagram and guess the flavor. You do not have to guess it right. You just guess. Just put a guess in, and we'll put you into a little fish bowl, and we'll pick out a name, and we'll send a 4-pack.
And you have to like and follow our.
You have to follow all that shit.
All the things, because that's how we will reach you. That's how we will reach you. We're taking
y'all know
your
how
comment
social media
and your
works.
name, and that's how we will reach you. And if you are not friended, then we will move forward with the next winner.
To the next, because we have to be friends, right?
Yes.
For sure. Y'all know how social media works. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, all of that stuff matters. So just know that. Just know that all of that stuff, it matters for the algorithm. It helps get us to more people, lets more people see who we are, and then that helps get our product out there or our podcast out there. So if you guys see us, share us, we would be much appreciated. And then what else? Who else is sponsoring this show? Just us. It's just all us.
Yes, our pop-up market is sponsored.
It's all us. You guys want to sponsor the show? Give us a holler. Our pop-up market is June 15th. Location to be announced, but you're gonna love the location. And if you're in Denver and you're part of this community, you've been to this location, guaranteed you're gonna love it. We're gonna have good food, we're gonna have good eats there, we're gonna have Elijah Tribe there playing some music. It's gonna be really dope. And I'm just nailing down the details, but I think we're going to have High League Art doing live art and selling some of his prints. And he's really into cats right now, so it's like super convenient.
Which reminds me, my friend Kayla wants to take the little art nook. She wants to take the little vanity area, and
you can't have it.
Oh,
because that's where I'm nailing it down. But we can get her a little art nook area. We can get her in a nice.
Oh, I thought he was going to be down in a bigger area, just because he's going to be He's
He's
not
gonna
gonna
be painting
paint,
to the music. He's gonna be painting to the music.
which is downstairs.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about the little
Oh,
vanity area up by the smoke room,
oh yeah, she could have that.
by the poker room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Sorry, you guys, we're talking
That's
about
why I
business.
was like, that's why I was like, oh, okay.
No, no, she could have that. You can have whatever you want, Kayla. I take it back.
Yeah. She's like, I'm coming anyway, but if I don't have to socialize and I can just do art instead while while I'm there and
Mhm.
medicate, she's like, yeah, I'm in. I was like, sweet.
Cool. I want to share this screen real quick. We're just moving through, and we're gonna bring our guests in just a minute. But next, there is some news out in New York, and so I just wanted. How long is this? This is like 3 minutes. Let's see. We'll see how much of it we need to play, but we'll play some of this. This is from Florist Farms. She's in New York. She I actually reached out to her because she actually does a really good job presenting the information, and we need to know more about what's going on in New York. So let's share this screen right here. And I have it at 12 seconds. So basically there's some things going on in New York, and she's going to tell us what they are. Okay, here we go. If it plays. Is it going to play? Come on. Okay, not going to play. Good for me. Sorry about that. No dead air here. Okay, here we go.
A not so
Oh
quick
my
update
gosh,
on
it's
what's
so
going
loud.
on in
Let me
cannabis
turn
in
it
New
down.
York. Monday, May 15th, and shit went down last week. Okay, so basically, the government promised that they would open 20 stores every month starting in January. So there should be 100 licensed cannabis stores open by now. However, I think our total count right now is at 9, and that is causing a major crisis across the industry. Last week, Card Coalition, which is a coalition of licensed equity license holders, sent a letter to the Office of Cannabis Management, the Cannabis Control Board, and DASNY, the Dormitory Authority of New York, saying that they are extremely frustrated with the way that the program is being rolled out. On the other side, the Cannabis Association of New York also wrote a letter from the farmers and processors saying that farmers are going bankrupt, that there is crop going bad, and that we need an emergency act to help them get their products to market because they were promised 100 shelves and there are only 9. There are farmers who risked everything this year thinking that they were going to be able to sell their products in stores around the state. But unfortunately, the OCM and DASNY, we'll call them, unfortunately have failed at bringing to market what they promised. The state was supposed to raise $100 million fund, and then they were supposed to secure the leases for the dispensaries for the equity partners, and then they were supposed to pay $1 million for the payout of those dispensaries. So far, none of those funds have been raised, and the equity stores that have opened are not actually permanently opened. They were rush opened as a pop-up, and they'll need to close back down in order to be built out. That causes a million issues. I mean, imagine starting a business and then having to hire and fire all your staff. The other thing is that DASNY hasn't actually signed 100 leases. As far as we know, they've only signed like less than 10. They had a full year to sign these leases and get these stores ready. So they are really just behind. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're not doing their job. So we have no funds raised, we have no store leases signed, and we have no equity stores actually open. And it's all on DASNY and the OCM because they are holding the line there. They aren't getting the job done that they promised. And now everybody throughout the entire industry in New York is getting hurt. So that's the update. If you care, it's a crazy industry. Hopefully we'll figure this out.
Okay, so this is what happens because
Wow.
we vote for cannabis, or they legalize cannabis. They make all these promises, and they think because it's true that we're not paying attention, because we're not. And 9 stores when there's supposed to be 100 is insane.
Right. What's the explanation of why the licenses aren't out there, and what's the holdup? You know, and we know what it comes down to
Yeah.
is you know, and having the spaces to grow, you know, and then also these the farmers that are, you know,
Right.
you know,
So
that's just
normally I don't do this, but I am actually going to bring our guest in on this conversation because he is a cultivator, and I'm sure he has opinions about this bullshit. That was in New York. That's in New York. So that young lady, Florist Farms, does updates from New York. Good afternoon, Jen. Invite all of Missouri, because we have Missouri in the house. Without further ado, we are going to bring in Jay from Tree1Four Genetics. Yay. Welcome,
Yay,
Jane.
yay.
Hey. How are you two doing today?
We're fantastic.
Excellent.
How are you?
Excellent.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. It's hot here today, a little sticky.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever been here in the spring, summer months, you'll never forget it. You know, it's
Never,
like
ever.
it might only be 85 degrees, but it's 73% humidity, and it's straight swamp.
Look how straight and flat my hair is right now, Jay.
I thought it was always like that.
Take it all in, because when I come to Missouri, it gets a bit fluffier.
Oh, I'm not taking my hair down. Oh my God, it's like a spider web nest up in there right now.
I saw you like putting it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, is he gonna leave it down?
No. My buddy today was actually like, damn, Jay, your hair is getting long. And I was like, yeah, I should probably cut it, but I probably won't.
Why? Yeah, no.
You know,
Any reason to?
I've only probably had 4 or 5 haircuts in the last 16 years.
Nice. I'm waiting for like this. There's a little piece at the end that still has evidence of where I bleached my hair to get it to this color, but we don't bleach it anymore. And so once that little piece is gone, I'm just gonna let it grow and grow and grow.
Okay. You're gonna try to go.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, how's Colorado today?
It was beautiful. It was spring,
Beautiful.
and we appreciate it finally, because winter has been taking over.
I was like, I don't know. I think it's getting gray outside my windows again. I can't tell because they're closed.
Oh, it's gonna snow.
Cloudy.
It's gonna snow for sure.
Don't say it. I am so mad about this snow this year.
It'll rain. It'll rain. It's gonna be rain for all of us unless you're high elevation. So yeah. Like even where I'm at, it'll still just be rain because I'm lower in the valley. So
yeah, some of my friends are actually out skiing and snowboarding out in A Basin today.
They run for I think they're pushing to July.
Yeah.
That you can always ride St. Mary's Glacier too. There are people that will go like hike up there and ride and ski down this little glacier.
That's crazy. I can't, especially me saying like, yeah, I can't ski, I can't snowboard. It's the wildest thing. I don't understand.
Stop it.
But what?
Don't say it. Till the end. We're gonna hold it till the end. But I can't even.
Okay. All right, but hold on. Actually, you brought me in because you wanted me to say something about New York.
Yes, about New York.
Okay.
What's going on?
So we can get off topic for the next hour.
Yes.
But here's through my experience, expect the worst to happen when it comes to the state saying they're going to do this and saying they're going to do that. You know, it's if you didn't expect how this was going to roll out, then you're living in a fairy tale. You know, this has been the same situation in almost all 38 states. There's been some litigation hold up. There's been the government not living up to their word, or a pay-to-play program that's run by MSOs and everything like that. And, you know, so it's like, does it suck for the businesses in New York? Yes. All right. But I think one of the things that on the government side is they know as soon as that floodgate opens, that's the biggest market, not only in the United States, but in the world.
Yeah.
And they are, they can sleep on it because they're like, we know when we open up that floodgate, all of you have just made generational wealth.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, because in a lot of places in New York too, it's going to be, I mean, that's where people go. There's so much happening there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like this, all right? So, like, in most of the states that have rolled out, especially if they've had medical and went to rec, or now just going straight rec, all right, is that, you know, even in Colorado at the start when rec passed, all right, none of the locals were actually going to the dispensary. All right. The market in Colorado in the beginning was really truly based off of tourists and tourist dollars. The amount of people that came into the state just to go to a store finally and be able to do it. You know, like that first probably 2.5, 3 years, you know, was really tourist driven. And then
well, then states around us started.
Yeah, states around passing, you know, Oklahoma passed. But the thing is, though, is that the shift that I've seen personally with Colorado is that at first it was tourists and none of the actual like locals went to the store. You know, because at that point in time there were thousands of people growing. You already had a hookup before all this was even going on. But
and a lot of people were also using the medical program, which was way cheaper.
Great medical program, great medical products, great everything.
And of course they're trying to pay. That's almost phased out at this point in time in Colorado.
Almost completely. It's almost impossible to find a medical store in Colorado.
Oh, unless you're in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. Yeah, because they won't allow, they just opened up rec, so I don't know if they have any stores up there yet.
No, I actually don't think that they actually passed that in Colorado Springs.
I think no, they just did, because I work for I work for a company and we definitely do sales with them out there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Manitou Springs has been rec.
Right.
So that little niche right there within, because Manitou is basically Colorado Springs. It's just a couple streets. You know, they've always had it, and you know, yeah, it's a sad thing because the medical program was great. You know, but now we're here 2023. Now, not only are the tourists going to the dispensary, the locals are now.
We're forced in, some of us, you know.
Forced
right. Yeah. You know, but let's say that there's still like a 1 to 3% of the market in Colorado is still in the traditional, or they're growing medical for themselves.
Right.
You know, and it's such a small percentage that it doesn't even change the equation anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm about to do too. I'm about to flip this room so that I could stop buying from these.
You know, it's crazy. I was having this conversation the other night, and it was like, man, 5 years ago, I knew over 100 people growing in Colorado. You know, just throwing it down. Today, I know 3.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it becoming a lost art?
No,
that's a great question.
It's not becoming a lost art, because you got to figure back, you know, if we go back then, most of the people that made the rush to Colorado really just did it to grow finally, you know, like a lot of growers that were set up that, you know, did a couple runs, it didn't pan out. Now they sold all their equipment, you know, so it's not a lost art. I would not say that at this point in time. You know, there's still, I mean, in Missouri, we have 41,000 licensed home grows. 41,000. You know,
Crazy.
when I think at the peak of our medical program, we had 160, maybe 160 plus thousand patients in the state, and 41,000 of those
We're like,
were
I'm gonna do it.
you know. So the passion is still alive. The want to be able to produce for yourself is still present. So you know, I don't see, I don't see this art ever dying. I actually think, honestly, in the last couple of years, you've seen things get pushed to new limits. You know,
Right.
and now, you know, you have even the smallest grower has the potential to have a fully controlled room, like temperature, humidity, watering, everything. Like none of the tools that we had when I first got into this, and you were just like doing it on a whim and like, hey, it
Which
worked
was
this way.
when?
What's up?
Which was when?
1995.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yeah. So I mean, it's been a minute. You know, it's
Yeah.
been a minute. So we go back to the, you know, back then it was a completely different animal. You know, you really lived the pirate life. You were a hermit. You know, we didn't have charcoal filters. We had noisy ballasts, hot lights, and you know, it took a level of dedication that isn't required today. And that's good because now you can do this legally in your house. You can, you know, you don't have to risk everything every second of the day to be able to provide for yourself.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, you know, there's like the good and the bad of the legalization of it all. The good is that we can do that now. You know, we can, like, we don't have to keep it a secret. We can be open about it. But I think that, well, I'll let you speak on it a little bit more. How do you feel about because you do genetics. So how do you feel about just like people who just don't really know that much about how the genetics work in the plant? Um, just kind of like creating new stuff out there, like just kind of like, because I feel like there's a lot of that going on. I'm going to try my hand at this, you know, without really knowing.
You know, I mean, here's the deal: is that when, you know, especially because a lot of a lot of people that buy seeds or buy clones or anything like that right now, especially like when you're starting, you're either going to buy seeds or you're going to buy clones. And
Right.
The key is, especially with new growers, is to find them something that is easy to grow. You know, there's a lot of different genetics that require more attention, different feeding cycles. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I like the intensity of being underneath the light or off to the corner? You know, because just like cannabis is just like regular plants. You know, you have some actually like shade, don't want to be under intense light. Some want full sun all day. Like there you can tell these categories because of where the genetics originate. You know what I'm saying? We go back to like, this is where we started, you know what I'm saying? So we go, like, if you were in a grassy plain, you're going to be able to take full sun all day. If you were at high elevation, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're only getting certain amount of sun all day. If you were, you know, regional, you know, so like, I like to, I dive deep into it because I think you almost have to at this point in time, you know, to actually make something stable that you can be confident to, like, not only put on the market, but that people are gonna be successful with it, you know, and it's gonna bring out the best in what their ability is, you know, regardless if it's a beginner or an advanced cultivator. That I think is more of a key to genetics than chasing different names down, you know.
Yes. So I know that you've been cultivating for a long time. What got you into genetics and being like a provider of genetics?
Well,
Like what?
you know, that's a good question. Like I've always been a very anal about like genetics, growth, nug formation, everything. And I started doing breeding projects like 10, 12 years ago, 10, 11 years ago. And that's sure, like after that, I got into the actual legal industry, working for grows and doing consultations across the United States. And then when I came back, a little bit before I came back, I was like, man, I know I need to pivot from doing this because I've always had this weird goal that I wanted to grow enough weed that I could give it to everybody. Well, I realized
I
that'll
love
never
that.
happen. You know, I'll never be able to do that. But what I can do is I can use the things that I like, that I personally enjoy, and make new creations with those and get those out to everybody. So instead of me trying to give everybody weed, here, I'm going to give you the seeds, and then you guys can have the weed that I want to smoke, you know? So it was like I knew I needed to pivot from just growing flower and trying to make it that way. Like I wanted to, like let's like dive full stream into genetics, and that's kind of that's when that started. And like I've actually found it that I have more fun with male plants than I do females at this point in time, because it's a whole different category of selection on that part right there, you know, because before I'm looking for this, but now it's like, oh, I want this, and then I need it to be this and that, and I'm like, okay, all right, now you know, it kind of like reignited my fire, because I mean, you do something for as long as I've done, it's if you don't pivot, it just gets old and repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I totally get that. So you said a lot of this and that. What types of things do you look for? Like what's the some of, I don't know how much our audience knows or doesn't know about the male and female plant. I have a picture of it always behind me on the wall though, if you guys want to zoom in. But how do you make a decision about which plants you're going to use to create your genetics?
So you know, one of my old friends that have been breeding forever, you know, he my first couple projects that I did with males that I never released, I picked like the first male that I saw, and it was like, oh man, this is great, this is the one, you know. And my buddy's like, you don't need to use those, you know. He's like, because he had been breeding for a few decades, and he's like, man, when you're going for a male, you want to find the male that shows its flower last instead of the male that shows its sex first, because the male that shows last is going to have more female chromosomes within it. All right, because like if it's just a straight male with dominant male, this and that, it's just gonna you'll know it. You don't have to flip it in the flower. The thing will just start. It'll just start growing pods and throwing pollen and veg. So I took that, and now I then went to structure. Am I getting lanky? Am I getting what is my like node spacing, like growth patterns, like how am I branching off of my branches, so that it's like I can kind of see and trace back that lineage, you know what I'm saying? Because hardcore Afghanis and stuff like that have very short bracking, very robust, short, slow growth, and more of what people would say like sativa, and like what grows different. All right, stretch.
Jay.
No, like each branch will stretch for light. So these are like little characteristics that I'm looking for to actually know which way these are going to go. So, and of course, like stem rub, if you got a male that's smelling, you know, and if you can get all of these things into the equation, you keep that, you know, because that is something that you keep in the stable for years, because not a lot of males, you know, are true studs. And I guess
that is That is true about life, actually.
I was saying, you know, we've had, you know, I've had friends who, you know, there's been oops moments where, they, oops, this genetic was born, and, you know, and then they tried to recreate that oops, and it didn't work out, you know, and the, you know, that came from it, just, it wasn't consistent. And so that's the problem with the oops, is like not knowing, you know, but also it can come up with some really cool things. Um, I have a question about that, and like the feminization of seeds.
Before you ask that question, I just want to explain my reaction. We have a story in the headlines and stuff of stories that we're doing, talking about the classification of cannabis and the sativa, indica, and hybrid of it all. So I want to like hold on to that thought, because when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, oh, we're going to talk about this.
Okay, we'll have that conversation, but that's complete and utter bullshit.
No.
None of that exists. So that's
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about
this
that.
This is good. And go ahead. I'm sorry, MJ, for interrupting. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, no worries. So just in the sense of, as you're, you know, when we talk about seeds and genetics and whatnot, when people are buying seeds or their intent to grow, there's this word feminization. These seeds are feminized, and to someone that may or, you know, may not be in the, you know, what does that mean to them? How is it dictated that these are going to, you know, and then they give a percentage rate of, you know, we're going to say that there's a 90% rate that these will all be females, and then also how people can tell whether they, you know, once they start growing, what they're getting or what they've got.
So I mean, here, like the feminized seeds, yes, like that. Those are actually feminized and auto seeds are the two most popular seeds, the highest selling seeds that are in the market right now. All right, because most new growers, they have to deal with plant count. So if I'm dealing with plant count, I don't want to spend time growing males that aren't going to produce for me. You know, if I'm cultivating just for myself. All right, so feminized seeds. The correct way to do feminized seeds is there's a couple different sprays that either use silver colloidal silver. Okay, yeah. I always have a problem saying that damn word.
I was coming.
It was coming, and there's another process that you can use to do it. So what that's going to do is you are going to, now, just how I said you found that stud male, all right? If you have that one female that is just everything that you want it to be, and it's like it passes stress test, you can overfeed it, underfeed it, hit it with light, you can have light leaks, you know, a truly strong female, all right? Now, if you want to preserve those, like that particular like plant, all right, you can reverse it. All right. And most people reverse those, pollinate itself, and create an S1 of that particular plant. And I mean, some of the best seeds I've ever popped were feminized. All right. But right now, I would have to say is that even in my own projects and some of the best breeders in the game, it doesn't matter. I've bought packs, I've run gear from $20 packs to $500 packs. All right. And feminized seeds, like, feminized seeds are finicky. They don't handle stress, no matter how strong the female is or the other plants that you're pollinating. Like, they do have a higher tendency to produce a stress herm. You know, where a stress herm will produce a male sac, drop pollen. All right, but there's a difference between a stress herm and a genetic herm. All right, you can have some that are genetically hermaphrodites, and they will grow more like a cluster, like a male flower cluster, but on a female, you know, so that's, you can't run with those, you know, but I like feminized seeds. There's feminized autos. I don't do autos, but I do feminize, because with that selection, I really know what I'm passing. You know, even with the male, you know what the male is going to do, but you don't know what the flower is going to look like. So I like doing feminized projects. It's a little bit of science. It's a different process with spraying the plant down. Sometimes there's a couple different sprays. I personally use a Hybrix. You can look them up on Instagram. They have a one-time spray the whole plant, and like 15 to 21 days later, your female is now a male temporarily. So it's about a 6-week transition. And then after that 6 weeks, that female will go back to being a female. I think I
am learning something. I'm learning something today.
Yeah, that's new. Wow, that blew my mind.
So what else we got going on? What else is gonna happen here?
Okay.
Now you got me on a roll. Sorry.
I know. I love it.
I was out skating all day and getting high. So now I'm sitting here getting high. And so if I'm a little slow, it's okay.
It's fine with me.
All right.
Not slow.
So you are doing a project right now, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you talk about it?
So right now, I've had a friend of mine who has been running a couple strands for a little bit over a year now. It's 4 or 5 runs deep, and we've been selecting out it's a strawberries and cream crossed with Z face. And if you don't, the Z face is Skittles face off OG. And after the first run, we had got it narrowed down to like 4 of them that we were going to keep, and this one just kept standing out. So now we've got it down to the one, and even though it's strawberries and cream Skittles face off, it is straight lemon pledge candy with if you're familiar with rainbow belt snug structure. So wash is great. It is true lemon terpenes. It's beautiful. So that's been chosen to that's reversed at the moment, and it is hitting the rainbow belts. What else is it? It's getting the rainbow belts. It's getting S1. It's getting Sunset Trop, and it's getting one other mystery that I'm not going to talk about. I'm not ready to release that one because I like to keep some back. You know, you can't release everything. You know, you got to have some type of exclusivity and something that's just, you know, for you. You know, that my theory. You know, like I have tons of shit that I've never released, and I like running it because you get to find those hidden gems. Things that nobody else can create. So then release those out in clone form, and then people can enjoy the particular cut that we've selected.
Awesome. I'm working on my sound, everybody. I'm not sure what's going on with it today. Apologies. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, so since we were kind of talking about it, there's always every once in a while there's like this article in one of the magazines or on one of the ganja papers or whatever, and it talks about how we should change the way we talk about cannabis.
Yeah.
So that created this whole conversation me and MJ were having earlier today. And it was like, first of all, the article's in High Times, and it doesn't really come up with new language. You know, the new language is use broadleaf, narrowleaf, use broadleaf or narrowleaf hemp, or broadleaf or narrowleaf, you know. So that's the conversation, but you can't really talk to consumers about broadleaf and narrowleaf.
No, because the indica sativa thing has been used as a marketing tool at this point in time.
Right.
And it's one of those topics that'll be so hard to change, because even when you're trying to explain broadleaf versus narrowleaf, and I'll be honest with you, the best person that you could ever listen to talk about this is a guy named Max Montrose. He used to be in Colorado. Now he's out in, I believe, Oregon, Trichome Institute. And the narrow versus broadleaf goes back to what I was talking about originally in the breeding selection. All right, is because broadleaf is what is mostly considered the indica profile, indica feeling, and then the narrow leaf is more considered the sativa. And if you actually break it down, all cannabis is sativa. I don't care what anybody says. If you go to the scientific and you look up what the definition of sativa is a fruit, is a seed-bearing crop, and that is exactly what cannabis is. Cannabis is a seed-bearing crop, but we've just selected it and took all the seeds out, and we have changed a lot of what cannabis naturally is and would still be.
Right. Just yeah. So yeah, because I feel like sometimes people who don't know anything about creating new creations are creating these, and they all taste the same, they all look the same, they all feel the same.
Because now and that's another, I'll talk about that after I answer the question. But they have made cannabis marketable in its presentation now. You know what I'm saying? And that's, a lot of strands look the same. They have very, very similar structure, very similar effect, just a slight difference of the taste. Everything's got that they want the cookie structure, the gelato structure. That is what is the face of cannabis right now. And if we go back 5 years, we go back even further, like Gorilla Glue didn't look like that. Like a lot of these classic strands that I've grown up on, and even like OGs, I love OG Kushes, but OGs don't look like what, and I hate to say this, but an uneducated consumer is looking for. They want, like, the consumer now wants hard, dense, purple, dark, with a little bit of a fruit taste. The term gas gets used incorrectly a lot. You know what I'm saying? True gas is that OG, that diesel, that fuely earth, funk, pine, that's gas, not Kim, the dog walker. That's when I hear that term gas, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about, anything that just smells right now. If it's got a smell, oh, it's gas. It's no.
That's not the.
No. So that it's
no, it's the new fire. Is that the new fire word? Like,
right?
Fire,
Whatever you want to call it. We get, that's a whole different. That's a whole different subject. But, it's so weird. Is that like when I was growing, a lot of we talk about this skunk terpene. All right, and everybody talks about the holy grail of skunk, and yes, okay. Like, I was alive from when we basically went from brickweed to skunk. All right, and that's how it went. Skunk came, is what the end of brick came to skunk. And there were a couple of strands that had that skunk like roadkill, like there was, but the term got used for everything that smelled back then. If you had weed that smelled in the late 80s, early 90s, it was called skunk. All right. So we went from brick to skunk. Then the skunk became kind. Then from.
Do we?
that's when the names really started making the appearance, and people started talking about, oh, we're looking for this, we're looking for that, and today it's just flower. I just got flower. You know,
well,
I got
that was part of the
flower.
discussion that
So
we were
no.
having, is that now we have more cannabis consumers that are not like from the old school, you know?
Right. But what's really crazy though is that if we look at the numbers, all right, over the last like 7 years into present, the fastest growing demographic of new cannabis users is 50 to 65. That age range right there, which was actually around during this whole entire transition in the beginning of the cannabis culture and everything like that. That's the fastest growing group. All right, and they basically aren't even looking for flower. That is the demographic that is like the topicals, the gummies. They want something other than flower because they've spent their whole life being anti-smoking weed probably, and haven't really smoked weed, but took pharmaceuticals and all of these things. So eating an edible is the same process of taking a pill. You know, it's the same. You know, so and. So it's funny that that market doesn't know the actual history that they were actually alive and in their prime during.
Right. And so that's
weed.
like, how do we change the language when the people using the language aren't the part of the culture and aren't educated about like that part, you know, like that sativa indica hybrid is kind of wrong.
Well, I mean, at this point in time, all cannabis is hybrid. There's very small numbers of true narrow leaf, true broadleaf that make it to market anymore, because those, for one, aren't the easiest plants to grow. For two, they don't produce, like the narrow will produce a lot, but the broadleaf plants, true broadleaf indica, like Hindu Kushes and all of those plants, don't produce. Like LA Coffee doesn't produce. LA Affy, none of these are large producers. So you're in a market now that is driven by large cultivations. Large cultivations aren't going to grow things that don't produce, you know, because that's where we're at. So that's the importance of still home growing, you know. Like, I love those little things, you know. You would spend sometimes I would spend 3 months of veg to flip a plant that would still only give me 2 ounces. You know, but it's that 2 ounces is gold, you know. It's that, because it has everything. Those that has everything that I'm looking for. You know, it's got the terpene profile. It's got THC. It's got CBD, CBN. These, like that broadleaf squatty plant covers that full expression that I'm looking for, the entourage effect, you know, like where you take a hit and you're like, okay, like I feel that, like that instant head body change. Like that's what I personally enjoy. This fruity stuff doesn't do it for me.
I also enjoy that.
But now the fruity stuff, I will say, like this new sweeter fruity stuff, it might not be the best, strongest flower, but it does make great concentrates. And I think before too long, concentrates will take over the role of flower.
We're already seeing it happening. You're seeing seeing more people buying concentrates, because it's so convenient, right? You have a little pen.
It's and see, that's the thing right there. It's convenient. All right. Conveniency is the driver behind the legal market right now. In every state, you know, it's convenient. You know, you're no longer on your friend's time schedule. You know, saying, like, even though it'll be cheaper to go see your friend, all right, you'll pay the extra 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks for the convenience of your own time. And that is a very, that yeah, like you know, there's people you might talk to and you've gotten weed from for 20 years, or they've gotten weed from you for 20 years or a year, whatever. Once the market opens up, convenience takes over. You know, it's I want convenience. You know, and I know this is bad. Like if I go buy some edibles, I want to know how strong they are. I don't want to like guess. Yeah, like how, hey, you know, these are 50 mil. No, they're 200. You know, you know. So I see both sides of the coin. You know, like, yeah, I see both sides of the coin. You know, on that particular topic right there.
Yeah, I think too that people that didn't purchase weed before will purchase it now that it's legal, and they're going to purchase it in a store, purchase it at that convenience.
Right. You know, because here's the deal is that, like, my dad only eats edibles. He loves edibles. All right. And like sometimes his friends will make some edibles and give them to him, and he has no idea how strong they are. And then he'll go to the store and he's just like, oh, he's like, okay, I need 1,000 mils of this, 1,000 mils of that. And like one day, yeah, everybody will meet Tomcat. He's a wild man when it comes to the edibles, but he doesn't like to eat the ones he makes and gets from his friends because they're just too strong. So knowing your dosage, you know, is key, because like the last thing you want to do is give some, like, a first time user 100 mil edible. No, they'll never eat that again. You know, you gotta work people in slowly.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. I made cupcakes and people were high for 3 days one time. So put
Yeah,
in everything.
yeah,
It was
yeah. I stopped eating them for a while because I was like, man, like that shit fucks me up. You know, I smoke flower all day. It doesn't matter. I eat edible. I am like, it's usually 45 minutes.
Unless I'm ready to take a nap.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a nap. I'm taking like a 6.5 hour nap.
Well, don't you have the opposite problem?
I don't necessarily like it have an effect. It's just like eating a snack, and so for me, I have found that I just have to have a higher milligram dosage, and then it is just nap time, and it's not. And so it's not what I'm consuming cannabis for. I need, you know, the opposite effect. I need the energy effect and not the like go to sleep effect. You know, so I feel like a lot of patients that I've worked with, they're using edibles to get through sleep and whatnot. So, yeah.
You actually have your metabolism and the way you metabolize it is completely different than, say, me or somebody that it affects on a, like, you need it to spike. You need it to keep going. You're like, it's like it charges you when you eat edible, probably, right?
I don't have any, you know, necessary like, oh, this is changing my world. It's like eating just a snack, or you know. So that, or again, I have to consume so much, it's just go to sleep. So.
Yeah, you know, I was over at a friend of mine's house, and this company over in Illinois released a new edible called Laugh, and they're saying that it is a full-on sativa made edible. And if you read the comments, like the reviews about it are everybody's like, oh my god, they really do make you laugh. And like my buddy's dad and his buddy like went over to get some, and they were like, man, these are just the best things, and they're little 5 milligrams, you know. And these guys are 65, 70 years old, and they're all making trips over to get these things now because it's the right dose for them. You know what I'm saying? And like they're loving it. Like I I would get some, but I can't do sativas. or that I can't do that type of effect. I'm so high paced that it makes my heart palpate. I start freaking out, you know, like that doesn't work for me. Am I getting? I think I lost sound.
I didn't hear you either.
Oh shoot, it's me. I muted my mic. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
So there is feedback on your end, Jay. So I'm just gonna mute for like you're not talking, just so that there's not that feedback. But whenever you are talking, hit that. I'll be paying attention. Okay. So fuck, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
I'm gonna go somewhere in the realm of what edibles, sativa, or like how edibles drive for you. Yeah,
I was gonna say, do you think that it's a little bit of a placebo effect too? Because they call them laugh, and then people are like, I expect that, and so then they take it, and then they do. Or is it the right combination of cannabinoids and whatever, you know, their ingredients are?
It's probably the combination of the two. I'd say it's the combination of the two. There's definitely the placebo, you know, because they're directing the energy and the intention of what their product is supposed to do. All right. So they're starting before you even open it up. Like, as soon as you see it, like, that is the initial intention behind it. So now when you ingest that, you are going to have that energy and you're going to have that push down the path to actually laugh, you know, and right. Especially on such a small dosage, a 5 milligram dosage is a small dosage, you know, so it's definitely a combination of the two.
Yeah, I would say that would be in the realm of like maybe like close to a microdose. I would say 2.5 is more closer to a microdose, but yeah, it's a pretty low dose and just enough to give you what you need without being too much, I think, for a majority of people.
Yeah, like a supplemental, like it supplements your diet. You throw it in there with your daily, you know, supplements.
Yeah, there's a big difference between use and abuse.
Right.
Use is very beneficial. Usage is great. You know, it's abusing it and not even knowing that you're abusing it. Trying to go past what your actual like body limits are is abusing something. You know.
And it's absolutely positive or possible with cannabis. People, because cannabis is such a safe drug or plant. I don't even, I guess if you're using it as a drug, but you can abuse this plant. You can, it can affect your life negatively. You could not be doing the work that you need to be doing. It could be further depressing you. It could be, but also, it's one of the most helpful plants medicinally that we have available to us. It's at the top of the list. So.
Yeah, I believe this. I believe that if you are drawn to cannabis in your body and like you like need it, and you'll know you need it, after you've tried it for the first time or second time, and like you'll instantly know if you don't need it when you've tried it the first time and second time. I know I have a bunch of friends where it's just not for them. It doesn't make them feel right. And everybody else, so I think you gravitate towards the things that that you actually need in your life, especially in your body and what you're doing, and then that's where the use and abuse thing comes, I think, I like to consume, but I think at my age now, I don't want to like smoke a half ounce in 20 minutes anymore. Like I like to celebrate it more than just consume all day. You know, to me, it's more of a celebration at this point in time. I'm still here, you know, so I need to embrace that, you know.
Yes. Oh, that her screen going black means that it is 4:20 on the West Coast. So light them if you got them, everybody, because happy 4:20.
Oh,
Happy
shit.
420.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
as well.
You liar.
So yay.
All right.
You
Oh,
said
wow.
you said at my age I wouldn't smoke this much and just, you know, be. I've told this story before, but I walked into an event one time and this man looked at me and said, "Do you want to do the bong race?" And I said, "Sir, I'm 46 years old. I'm not racing on a bong." Like I'm not seeing how fast I can load this and smoke this. I don't need to be the world champion of how quickly that can be done. I'm going to enjoy my cannabis.
I'll
Today.
watch
Now,
someone else do it though.
you know, if I was 22, I'd be, oh, dude, I'd be racing. I'd be full throttle, you know. But I'm not 23 anymore, you know. And
Right.
you know, yeah.
But you, so okay, segue. So because you blow my mind sometimes. I just,
Oh my God.
Instagram, like, oh my God. He blows my mind because, first of all, the plants that are produced from his genetics are absolutely beautiful and amazing. They're crystal, they're snow, they're just some of the most beautiful plants I've ever seen.
Thank you.
But also, you're very welcome.
No,
Wait,
thank
you
you.
really got to thank the people that are growing these in their garden. I thank them because that's none of it's possible without their love and attention that they're putting into it, and their belief that they know that, like, they trust in my judgment and they believe in my work, you know. So it really it's a hats off to everybody that's got it in their garden at this point in time. Like that's yeah, that means a lot to me.
I love that. Yeah, shout out to all those growers out there that are growing these genetics because they're coming out amazing.
Oh, they're coming out swinging. I dig it.
Woo. But you said, so we had a reaction at the beginning of the show to you to something you said, and then you just said also that you're not in your 20s anymore.
No.
But one of your hobbies is a young man's hobby.
Well, you know, there you gotta do, yeah. You know, I was out, I mean, yeah, the fact I was out today, you know, but yeah, I like to go very fast on a piece of wood and four wheels down roads that people drive. I don't know why, but it's one of the weirdest things that brings peace to and puts me like in the moment that I do. So I credit it for keeping me young at heart. And
I mean,
something.
Yeah.
Snowboard, yeah. That's why I snowboard.
So the weirdest thing is that I am comfortable at 50 miles per hour on a road, but skiing and snowboarding scares the shit out of me. You know, it scares the shit out of me. But it was like when I was young, I got a snowboard like right when snowboards started coming out. Okay. And like I got one for Christmas. A core memory. We just have. Oh no, you know, this is one of those that stick with you. This story right here is absolutely fabulous. So I get this snowboard for Christmas. The school across the street from my house had this big giant hill that we always would sled on. That was where like everybody in my community would go sled. and it happened to snow on Christmas, you know, so that I was like, I'm going snowboarding over at the school, and I go over, I'm having fun, it's great, nobody's there yet, and then some people show up. Me and this little kid on an inner tube collide. I literally tear every ligament in my knee.
Oh no.
And I'm now hobbling back to the house using the when I got back to the house, this is the best part of the story, is that my mom and my stepdad had to took me to the emergency room, you know. And on the way to the emergency room, my stepdad goes, man, when we get there, start screaming. All right. He's like, they'll get us right in, you know. And he's like, he said something, and I was like, man, I was in so much pain. I was like, oh, shut up. But when we get there, I'm pulling myself out of the car, and like, the thing about my stepdad, my mom, like they would lock the doors on the car instantly. You know, as soon as the door opened and they were getting out, they were locking it, because you didn't have remotes to lock it back then. So my stepdad slams the car door on my hand, and now I'm sitting there screaming bloody murder, and yeah, it takes a second to get it unlocked. I'm screaming, like we're at like a Catholic hospital, so I'm screaming. The priest comes out, they bring a gurney, like everything, like they start freaking out so it actually worked. They got me in real quick, but damn, it hurt, you know. So
did you break anything in your hand?
I think it scarred me from snowboarding more than snowboarding itself. That's the scar, you know.
I mean, that's traumatic.
Yeah, that's not. No. You're like, no.
Yeah,
but I will downhill skateboard on a road on pavement. What's the fastest you've gone or
60 miles per hour? And that was actually out in Colorado, Squaw Pass.
I was gonna say there's it's called it's I don't even know what it's called now I'm blanking it, but Jess has given someone a ride up for them and followed them down and recorded the whole, like,
how old were you when, if you don't mind, how old were you when you started doing this?
I was actually 38.
Okay.
So yeah, I was 38. I met these two guys, and they were like doing paddleboard lessons and doing like long distance pushing and skating like 10, 20 miles like in a row. Like I didn't enjoy that part, but I got aboard, and we started doing hills, and I was like, man, it's like it's that moment is in. That's like, okay, nothing else matters. Like right here, right now, the cell phone doesn't matter. The outside world doesn't matter. And it's amazing that it's like, now I've been doing it for this long, it's literally like I'm calm. Like my breathing's not rushed, my heart rate's not high, but I'm in like one of the most chaotic situations that you can actually put yourself in. You know,
it's stressful watching.
You know, yeah. If you saw the videos, really, like the videos that would really freak people out is when you see how close the car behind you is. You know, like so it's like this is like a two-person operation here. You know, to actually film it is that you better trust whoever is in the car behind you, you know, and luckily I trust my buddy and he trusts me, you know, so but yeah, we're within less than 10 feet. So if I'm doing 50, the car is doing 50 behind me, and he's so close he can't see the skateboard.
What? No.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely the fuck.
But if you want that footage, you gotta get it. You know, but it's that same aspect in every like situation. You know, like if you're not willing to do it,
Ooh.
you will never know. You've got to treat everything like that. You know, you got to have that as part of your mind state. You know, and any project that you're doing, any work that you're doing. You know, if you're not willing to do it 100%, don't fucking waste your time. And I've kind of had that attitude with everything I do. Well, almost everything that I do.
Okay.
You know, there's a whole shitload of things that I'm not great at that like I know I can be better. But knowing that I can be better means that I acknowledge it and am willing to learn. You know.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we're going to come back. Would you rather? We're not going anywhere. I'm just going to tell you about our product. Basically, this show is brought to you by Queen Kitty Seltzer. I'm going to mute you real quick, Jay.
Okay.
Oh.
Take a quick 5 minutes anyway. I need like maybe 3 minutes.
Go take a little break. We'll come back.
Okay.
Hey, we'll be right here. Okay. This show is brought to you by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. You know you want to. This water tastes like water. It does have 10 milligrams of CBD. We have Nearly Naked, Bubblegum Burst, and Lemon Kiss available right now. But in June, we are releasing our new flavor. Do you want to know what it is? I bet you do. Go guess on our Instagram page, Queen Kitty Seltzer. With the guess, you can get put into a little fishbowl. And we might draw your name out of it. And then you would get 4 of our cans, 1 of each flavor. You get to try them all. So there are only a few states that we cannot send to. So keep that in mind. And yeah, we'll work on shipping. So Queen Kitty Seltzer, pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. Let me show you the flyer. This is super professional. There's no THC, no sugar, no sweeteners, no yak in the back. It tastes like water because that's what water's supposed to taste like. Organically grown hemp and natural botanical flavors. This show is also brought to you by CQ LLC. CQ LLC, we do cannabis consulting and education. We are certified. Sorry, the word slipped my brain. It was that 420 celebration. We are certified to teach responsible vendor training in the state of Colorado, 970-426-5985. We also help you do hands-on staff training. If you want us to come in and help you with your SOPs, etc., give us a call, 970-426-5985. This show is on every Wednesday, 4:20 Mountain Standard Time. So come check us out. 4:20 Mountain Standard Time, that's 5:20 Central. That's 6:20 on the East Coast. And that is 3:20 on the West Coast. And that is 12:20 in Hawaii time. Don't forget that May is coming. May is National Masturbation Month. So treat yourself. Be nice to yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of you. We are having a party for our flavor launch. So that's on June 15th from 4 to 7. You can check out our solo link, solo.to/cannabis/Queen Kitty Seltzer. And check that Eventbrite link, and that's got the link to the party on it. We're also still looking for vendors to table, to sponsor, and maybe if you wanted to send a brand ambassador, you could totally do that as well. You can reach out to us at queenkittyllp@gmail.com. Today, we have on the show Tree1Four Genetics. We have Jay from Tree1Four Genetics. So holler if you're loving this show, because I certainly am. We're having a real good time. And don't forget to go check out our Instagram page, where you can guess the flavor and be put into a little fishbowl to maybe perhaps get a 4-pack for you yourself that you can enjoy. Don't worry, we still have more Jay to come, and you can watch it on the playback too. Don't forget that well, you know, I still have to post a few, and I apologize for not having done that yet. But don't forget, we do have our show available after the show on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts as well. You can probably still catch the video on YouTube and Twitch. I think it stays up for 3 videos, and then Facebook Live as well. So if you wanted to watch our pretty faces, you totally could. But if you just wanted to pop us in your ear while you're, you know, cleaning the bathtub, which I said today was like one of the worst chores ever because of the awkwardness of it. It's not even because it's hard, but also I said, and I quote, because you said, well, first you said you actually have to like wash your bathtub. You can't just spray water on it. And I said, yeah, like your butthole.
You actually have to. Water cannot just run over it and
not
clean
just
it.
water. You got to wash it.
That's it.
So I thought you guys would enjoy that. And so that's why I repeated it here on the air, just for you. Because I love you guys. Anyways, join us on our Discord if you want to. So check us out, solo.to/cannabiscloset420. That's where you can find all of our solos as well. And so you can just like catch us on there. Oh, anyways. Okay. Are we back? We're back. Welcome back, everybody.
The downward dog, yes.
Left and then we came back. How are you doing, Jay?
I'm good. All right. So I am going to lose power here in about 7-8 minutes. All right. But while you have me on, all right, I've got a question. Huh, what do you think about that?
I love it.
All right. So my question is, what was that moment that the two of you knew this is what you had to do?
This?
Your CBD drink, your consulting, and this podcast right now. Like, what was it that clicked one day that it was like, this is what we're gonna do? Like, the two of you had to sit down and come up with this. You know, like, how did this banter of the minds actually start?
I'm gonna go first. So CQLC is because I first of all I like to have multiple streams of revenue. So I do. And so CQLC is built off of the desire. This is a great question. Off of the desire to educate others about cannabis, because I think it's so important. I think it's so important in the workforce, but I also think it's so important as a consumer to like really know more about what you're consuming. And so prior to CQLC, I was working in education, and I said, well, I still want to do that. And then I partnered with a company, Green Flower Media, holler, to provide responsible vendor training. So that's where that was kind of born. And then the podcast actually led to the seltzer. So I wanted and still want to do a podcast that talked about things that were not comfortable to always talk about. And for this specific podcast, I said, I want that, you know, obviously I want that to be cannabis because I want to educate in cannabis. And so then I wanted to just like reach others about it. And so that's why we come on here and we rant and rave about like, you know, the Missouri adult use bill and Amendment 3 and you know, what's going on in New York and this is another recall and what can we do better? And so that's kind of where that was born from. I didn't want to really do it by myself. So I just been friends with Megan for over a decade. And I was like, yo, you want to do this with me? And then this is the short story, you guys. And then that and then that led to we were actually in Kansas City and in St. Louis. It was one of the first times that I had come out to visit outside of like doing a class and leaving. And Josh approached us, liked what we were about, liked what we wanted to talk about, the education piece and the kind of passion behind it. And so he was like, if you ever want to put your face on a can. And so that we talked about it for like 6 months, right? We talked about it. And then finally, like, we're like, well, let's raise the,
yeah.
I feel like it was almost 6 months, but maybe longer than 3, less than 6. But then we came up with the initial investment money. And we also put a little piece of education on every single Queen Kitty can. So if you get a lemon kiss, you're going to get a little blurb about cannabinoids. If you get the bubblegum burst, you're going to get a little blurb about terpenes. If you get the nearly naked, you're going to get a little blurb about your endocannabinoid system, which makes sense because nakedness anyways. And then if you get the new flavor, we actually kind of steered away from the cannabis knowledge, and we dedicated this can to bring awareness to violence against women. So that's my short story of why I do it, and why I also like chose to do it with her, because she's my platonic life partner. So we're just
we started with the education connection, and really like actually it was like the love of the plant, the excitement for the industry and the direction everything was going in terms of education. And then and that's how we met, and that's how we connected. And in the original, and it but it was years like that, we were just Facebook connected, or but with that, conversations here and there became more and more frequent. And then and then it was like, well, you talked about the podcast and we're just talking about it. I was like, you should do this, and you could do that. And you're like, I'm only gonna ask once. Do you want to do this with me? And that's and from there it really has become continued focus on what's going on in the industry, the dissatisfaction that we're seeing when we love this plant so much, when we and continuing to want to fight for that, but also like watching it just get abused.
So. On all levels, it's well, first and foremost, I commend you two. I wish you both like the most success.
Thank you.
Don't stop what you're doing. I know that you've been at it for a while, but this is still just the start. And like I genuinely wish you the best. I really thank both of you for allowing me to come on and run my mouth for an hour and 25 minutes. And but I love what you two are doing, and raising awareness and putting out educational things for people is important, especially in a mudded industry where the marketing is not really geared towards education. It's geared towards fancy pictures, cartoon images, and things like that will all change and be taken away once we go federally legal. Everything will have to be as clean cut as possible. So like right now, like I think when it gets to that point, that's when you're gonna have actually more education on it. And you're going to have to market yourself on a completely different level. So it'll actually change in that aspect. But I think it'll also have some terrible ramifications, just like we've seen in almost every single thing. Well, sometimes I can't see these little questions.
Says, do not
start like, yeah, I mean, I think, it's not just in cannabis, education on all levels and all fronts, I think is really the key of how you make your village whole, and I think we're in a day and age where like even the truth isn't even believable. you know, and it's hard to convey messages until the message is in dire need of being addressed, you know. And luckily over the, you know, since the beginning of medical and being able to actually test, and like private people doing these tests and figuring out the terpene and cannabinoid and how all of these things actually truly work. We go back to old, that's Ayurvedic medicine, you know, that now they're actually doing like true studies because we can actually figure out. And that's one of the things that, like, in my upcoming breeding projects, I'm going to really steer clear of growth rate. I'm going to steer clear of production and focus on actual data. You know, like, how am I going to create more myrcene? How am I going to create more limonene? This plant might not be great, but it has extremely high levels of CBN, CBG, and a terpene profile that is unmatched. So that's more important to pull and actually like start gearing cannabis and breeding projects and genetics to medical uses, you know, that, like, hey, we're going to pull this out. And like, I think honestly, the hemp and the CBD plants is really what pushed that initial like investment into studying, into knowing, you know, like you have, you know, mass breeding projects to isolate specific cannabinoids and terpenes, and not just the amount of THC. You know, I think that number gets that number is so muted. So I got 2%. All right, before I run out here. Yeah, that number is so muted, and actually truly means nothing, because cannabis by THC and THCA by itself won't do anything to the body. Will have zero effect if it doesn't have any of the other cannabinoids with it and terpenes. You know, so we used to call this stuff pretendica. You know, because it looked great, it was everything, but it did nothing. You know, so yeah, so it's things like this and the message that you two are trying to are pushing out there that only help. You know, so it's important what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on. It's, I'm going to mute you real quick. Try not to lose you. It's _tree, the word tree, the number 1, the word 4. So it's _Tree1Four _ tree, the number 1, the word 4 _ is where you can find him on Instagram. He's doing a lot of amazing things. And you can also catch those skate videos, which are fucking epic, but scare the shit out of me. So, because I worry for your safety, Jay.
If it's my day, it's my day.
I feel you.
You know, that's it. You know, you can pull out the driveway. It can happen. You know, I try my best to not live in fear of the things that stand in front of me.
Well, I love that attitude, and thank you for the inspiration.
Well, thank you too. I hope the rest of the podcast is great. You two just talk a little bit more shit, but I have got to bounce out. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. This was fun, and we will definitely do this again.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. Yes,
right.
awesome.
Jay was amazing. It was everything.
Thank you so much. That was so great.
There was a little bit of feedback on that, so apologies for the sound, but the conversation was absolutely on point. Amazing.
Were you able to pull any of the videos from his
I didn't. You might have just fallen in love. I feel you. I didn't pull a video. I could maybe pull up his Instagram and try to find one, but basically I'll make sure we have one for definitely the next show. Maybe I'll like intro the next show with a Jay downhill skating video.
Post one to our page, and everyone should go check it out there.
We'll share it to our page or to our story. So follow us on Instagram. Cannabis Closet 420 is where you can find us. Jay is such a cool dude. I've talked to him a few times. Yeah, just like I can't say enough good things about him. He's very smart. Obviously, you guys, I mean, we didn't even have to prompt him. He just went. And
that was amazing. Yeah, I mean,
when he started talking, listen, when he ended the conversation with how THC alone is not what you should be looking for. Like, what? Why are you reading my mind right now, man?
Right.
Like,
right.
I love it. I love it so much. Talk terpy to me.
Talk terpy to me. We need to make a shirt that says that.
Yeah. So underscore the word tree, the number 1, the word 4 underscore. Always repping St. Louis over here because we love y'all so much.
I know.
And y'all got some dedicated motherfuckers that have been doing it since the old school, like since the day one. Like, they've been doing it since they could put a seed in the dirt. I mean, I got several friends out in St. Louis, and they just been doing the thing since the beginning. Well, okay, I'm gonna need you to send me an email because we need to thank you. Just send me an email. Send Queen Kitty.
Yeah, I have an email ready to go to another company
at gmail.com, or you could hit us in the messages of this podcast. We'll get it. It's absolutely amazing, and he's working on a project as well, and I love that, like, focus on science and just that passion for the plant, right? That's so much, like, you don't know that much about the plant unless you love what you're doing and love like the interaction that you're having, and it's absolutely amazing. He's amazing. So you guys definitely go follow him, and also go follow us, because why aren't you following us? Why aren't you following us? Why aren't you following me?
Why aren't you sharing us? Why aren't you sharing? If you like something, also hit the share button.
Like it, share it, comment on it. It's going to help build algorithm. And also, we'll do that for you if we see that you're promoting something on your page. I did go through. I don't know what just happened. I did go through Queen Kitty Instagram and followed a few people that we definitely know, or etc. So, like, no, whatever, you know what I mean. So I did that today. We've been trying to post more often. We do have that party on June 15th. So tell your friends. We are accepting sponsorships and brand ambassador appearances for your company, and tabling too. But if you're not able to make it for some reason, you want to be repped at this event, then just, let's talk about sponsorship. We can definitely make that happen. So that's happening. We didn't get to the would you rather with Jay, which would have been really fun. Okay. But
yeah, it's all right.
It's okay. That's what batteries do. They die. Okay. I was just happy to have him on. So yay, holler. Okay. So the would you rathers today. So we didn't do our history today either. So let's do that. Actually, let's just real quick do that. I don't want to rush it, but also, we're going to do that. So let me see if I can share this. I'm certain I can. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. We really appreciate you guys coming out to the show, rolling up and showing up. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. So let's do a little Asian American Pacific Islander history. So we have right here, we're going to start at these three beautiful women right here. We have Catherine Eusebio, and I'm probably pronouncing the names wrong. I apologize profusely.
Did we do those first three?
We did.
We did the first three.
We did the first three. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm to the second three.
Oh, that is the second three. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if somebody does know how to pronounce a name differently than I do, please let me know. I will definitely correct, because my whole life my name's been Farah Halisa. Okay, so there's that. Catherine is a social justice fellow at Asian American Pacific Islanders in philanthropy, where she manages API Dream Summer, a component of national internship program that engages partnered. Oh, I have to click on it. I forgot. It's not the whole thing. That engages engages partners in community and philanthropy to support leadership development of immigrant youth. Catherine also serves on the board of directors of United We Dream, the largest network of immigrant youth-led organizations. In her words, she strives I don't know why. She strives to promote change that starts with empowering the most impacted people to lead. So that's Catherine. At Suko Toko Fish, I'm probably not even pronouncing that correctly. Again, apologies. She's a first-generation Japanese American, and she's committed to innovation and social change in the U.S. and Japan, especially in areas of empowering women and promoting understanding between the two cultures. In 2005, she founded the Japanese Women's Leadership Initiative, an executive program that prepares Japanese women to become nonprofit leaders and agents for social change. In the wake of the March 2011 disaster in Japan, she created the Japanese Disaster Relief Fund in Boston, which raised nearly $1 million and provided 24 grants to 19 organizations. And we have Luciana Tuga Hansen. I don't know, probably Hansen. I'm just probably overdoing it. She was born in America Samoa and has lived in Anchorage, Alaska since 1985. In 2004, she started the first Samoan language computer school for elders, and in 2005 helped launch the Polynesian Association of Alaska, PAOA, to bring the community together through cultural events, history, and arts and crafts programs. As the current president of the PAOA, Lucy helped create Polynesian Culture Flag Day to celebrate the history of culture and arts of the Polynesian Islands. She also serves as vice president of Bridge Builders of Alaska and as president of Anchorage Polynesian Lions Club as well. So that is our history corner.
Nice.
Okay. Now to the would you rather, because that's where we're at. And you guys would like to know, would we rather what? Let's see. Let's start with the first one. Would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals? I really wanted to ask him this question because I feel like my friend that I know him through would want to like know the history of everything they touched. But not me. I want to talk to animals. But I also feel like, I don't know. I feel like Jay would, I don't know. I don't want to make an assumption, but he seems like he's like, I want to have more knowledge.
Right. I definitely, I agree with that. I am also of the mind to want to talk to the animals. I don't necessarily want to know. I don't want to know necessarily everything about everything.
How about this? How about I get to talk to animals and you tell me the history of every object you ever touched? I'll listen.
There you go. I'll listen. I'll listen. I just don't want to do it myself.
All day.
Yeah.
I want to know, but I also want to talk to animals, and I want to talk to animals more.
I want to talk to animals more.
I want to know what my dog is thinking. He's probably not thinking anything except, bitch, get up and let me outside.
Eat that.
Bitch, feed me. But it's worth it to me to know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they'd say, I love you and I miss you. And, because that shit, because I know she's not happy when I'm gone.
I mean, I feel like, Nugget probably would maybe be a little bit of an I love you dog. Karma would be like, feed me. like how she sits on the other side of the gate and like makes that noise. She's been sitting here this whole time making that noise at me.
Yeah.
I spaced out. Can you repeat the question? Yeah. Would you rather know the history of everything you touch, or would you rather talk to animals? My dog is losing her mind right now. It's not close to time for dinner, so I have no idea what's going on.
I know. Lady's just pouting. She's sitting. She's not making the noises yet. She's just sitting. Oh my goodness. My bladder is about to explode though.
Okay. Well, then I will hurry up. Let's see. The next one is, of course, talk to animals. Okay. Would you rather be compelled to high five everyone you meet, or be compelled to give wedgies to anyone in a green shirt? Again, another question. I made these questions specifically to ask Jay.
Can you text him? Maybe he'll get it. Yeah, like we'll get it. And then we can talk about it later.
Maybe I'll read. Yeah, maybe I'll send him a text and be like, "Hey, here are the would you rather's," and our audience wants to know.
Or no, post it. Yeah, like and he can answer on socials.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I don't want to touch people.
I would rather high five them than touch their underwear.
Every person I meet.
It's only once.
But I have to do it to every person I meet.
Yeah, but what about the compelled wedgie thing? Like, how many wedgies you given?
How many green shirts are out there?
You'd probably be surprised.
I feel like unless you're at a green shirt convention.
Well, you better not go to a cannabis convention then, because you know there's a fight.
Just be like, wedgie, wedgie, wedgie. Next come in with the what the fuck. It's silly.
And then it's also strangers just straight up giving green shirt wedgies.
Strangers. Are they wearing underwear? This question. Did they wash their booty hole?
You don't get choices. You're just compelled.
High fives. High five. That's it. No, that question alone. Okay. I have two more, but I like them both. Okay. Would you rather be lost in a bad part of town or lost in the forest?
Forest.
Bad part of town. All day. I'm not getting lost in the forest. You fuck off. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There are dangerous shits in the forest, and sometimes there are people.
There's dangerous stuff everywhere.
I can talk my way out
just
of a lot
different
of shit.
Kinds of danger.
I can talk my way out of a lot of shit. I think that if I was in like a bad neighborhood, that I could just like, we could work it out.
See, I trust myself. I guess I trust myself in the forest because I've definitely gotten lost behind my house for a minute.
Listen,
but I was like, I know where I'm at. So
that's where murders happen, I say, as I enter the inner cities.
Doesn't matter. There, you know what? There's some crazy, like stories that don't get talked about up here.
Perhaps it's because of the statistical. I mean, there are bad neighborhoods in, like pretty much every big city. Like, I don't know. I don't think statistically speaking, more white women die in the forest. I don't know why.
Get pushed off a mountain by their spouse.
But I watch a lot of Dayline. I've seen it. A lot of women get killed in the forest. Not a lot of women get killed in bad neighborhoods. I'm just saying. I think maybe I could talk my way out. Maybe I could be like, yo, listen, I think we had a little misunderstanding. I'm leaving. Listen, you don't want me here? I also don't want to be here. I'm so sorry. My GPS. Here's my phone. Like,
At least if I'm lost in the forest, someone might come try and find me.
yeah,
Like, you know, that's what search and rescue is for.
Like, listen, that someone might be a serial murderer. I saw it on Dateline once. Okay. Listen, last one, because I know you have to go to the bathroom. I know this is 4, but I just felt like 4 was a good number today.
4 is a magic number today. Okay.
Would you rather be able to control lights with your mind or actually be able to throw your voice?
Lights.
So I would like either of these talents, but
yeah,
sometimes in my house, I hide in plain sight. I just stand really still. And then when a person comes around the corner, I go, ah! And sometimes I'm like right where I can be seen. Like if you're paying attention, I can be seen there, but you weren't paying attention. And then there I was.
Are you like prepared for like karate chops to the throat, if that, like, or like reaction? Okay. So you have a
distance. I keep a distance, like, you know,
take a defense stance.
I'm prior military. I keep a distance, right? But also I think it's hilarious. When I first moved to Colorado, I lived in a loft apartment and it had 2 sets of stairs going up, and I would stand on the little landing and I could see, like, and you could see me, but if you weren't looking for me to be standing in this awkward place, I was scared shit out of somebody. So I would always be like, ah. So the point of that story is to tell you this: throw my voice.
Because you want someone to think that you're over there so that you can be like, ha, when they turned around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But controlling lights, close second, because that's what I'm going to do as a ghost.
Just mess with the lights, just flicker. Especially the dimming lights. Those are the best. That's the bestest.
Fantastic. I was fucking with them the other day because I have remote control lights from my phone. So I was like, fucking.
I know. I saw you doing that because I was wondering how you change the colors of it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we got these lights that you could turn them to party lights. I'm 46. I don't know what I need party lights for, but hey, I have them in my hallway upstairs, not even in the place where we would have a party. Like they're in the upstairs living spaces. Whatever. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Give Jay some love. _ the word tree, the number 1, the word 4 _ Tree1Four Genetics. Go check them out if you're looking for genetics. Definitely reach out and see what you think. I'm gonna tell you, his shit's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What he grows is beautiful, and the seeds that his friends, other growers are growing are beautiful. I'm just saying what I know.
Yeah, he's mindful. I mean, and so that can only translate into the genetics and the plants he grows. So
that's right. And I know several people in Missouri that are like that. So what I would say is, respect your elders, and go check some shit out and listen when they got some shit to say, because it could be important. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to be back next Wednesday. We're doing Wednesday shows only for the summer. We're going to see how that goes. It's going pretty good right now. I'm not going to lie, because we've been able to advertise for longer for the show to get you guys hyped. So it's been good. And plus it's helped with us planning this event as well. So we don't have to give as much time. I know y'all miss us, but catch us on our socials. You can follow any of our solo accounts, solo.to/cannabiscloset420. If you can't remember that, Queen Kitty Seltzer, solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer. If you can't remember that, Can of Queen DGO, that's me. Can of Queen DGO everywhere I go. Follow me on social media too. You should follow me on social media. I'm having a good time. So you should do that. You should do that. Anyway, so everybody, don't forget to be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Put your mask on before assisting others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I'm serious about that. Love yourself. Holla Gracie Basie for that song too.
Cultivate love. Bring it to you.
Bring it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You're worthy of it.
And you can spread it. And that's part of the being kind to yourself. Love yourself.
Believe it. Believe it, because it's true. And of course, as always, stay lifted, stay gifted. We will see you on Wednesday. Make sure you like, follow, comment, all that shit on everything that we post. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging in with us. And thanks for your comment section. It's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. We love you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. Oh, Discord, after she goes to the bathroom, go hang out with us on Discord, solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. Find that link.